In this video, I want to talk all about future DLC perks coming to Black Ops Cold War Zombies. This is going to be an updated video to what I've been talking about the past couple of months because the introduction of the Tier 4 and Tier 5 upgrades for all of these perks in the game brought us some new ideas and some new insight as to what Treyarch is planning on bringing us as a DLC perk. I'm going to be going through some leaked information about this stuff and also some gameplay that may have revealed these new perks and abilities in the game. If you can, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Really do appreciate it, guys. We're super close to 70,000 subscribers, so thank you guys for supporting the channel like crazy recently. Let's get started here first with the perk changes in the game right now and why that is changing our expectations for future DLC perks. So you guys know, I've said this so many times before, the original perks that we have talked about to be added in Cold War Zombies future DLC are Mule Kick, Tombstone, PhD Flopper, and Double Tap. Tombstone, obviously, we got that one already. We have one slot filled in the Der Wonderfizz machine, 3 slots left, 3 DLC perks left to be added in the game. Now, the new Tier 4 and Tier 5 upgrades that were added to the game has changed a bit of what we were talking about originally for future content. So the biggest example here is what they did to Elemental Pop Tier 5. If you guys don't know, Tier 5 of this perk makes it so reloading creates an electric damage discharge that damages and stuns nearby normal enemies, and that pretty much is the main feature and function of the Electric Cherry perk that we've seen in past zombie games. I love Electric Cherry. I was so hyped and glad they did this to Elemental Pop, and it's also good because Elemental Pop really wasn't the most favored perk in Cold War Zombies. Treyarch probably had some internal numbers, or they just saw the overall community sentiment around Elemental Pop. People were not using the perk. People really didn't like the perk, and now that Electric Cherry is the Tier 5 upgrade, a lot of people are probably a lot more enticed to fully upgrade the perk and use the perk because of that. A lot of high rounders probably still don't like Elemental Pop because a main problem with that is it switches through the ammo mods, and a lot of high rounders and speedrunners like to stick to one ammo mod. Like right now, Deadwire fully upgraded is super powerful. Most people would only want to have Deadwire on their weapons, and they don't want Elemental Pop messing things up. But you know, having Electric Cherry as an ability for Elemental Pop makes the perk a lot more enticing to actually use in the game. But unfortunately, if you guys remember any of my videos back in September, we talked about one of the leaked perks in the alpha files of Black Ops Cold War. Before the game even came out, we talked about Electric Cherry being a perk leaked in Black Ops Cold War Zombies. Now, obviously, if they brought the Electric Cherry perk upgrade ability into Elemental Pop Tier 5, they're not going to add a standalone Electric Cherry perk. They still could. There's no confirmation on that, but the fact that they brought it into this existing perk in the game just shows you that they're probably not going to have a standalone perk, and I don't really know how many different tiers they could have for Electric Cherry. Electric Cherry really only has that one function, and if they brought it into the game as a standalone perk, I really don't know what else they could add to it. And you know, maybe they could add Widow's Wine to it, but if it's in Elemental Pop, we're not going to see Electric Cherry. So I love that perk machine. It would have been cool to see it in Zombies, but most likely that leak there, the Electric Cherry perk leak, not happening in Zombies. But Juggernaut's new Tier 4 and Tier 5 upgrades actually reveal a lot as well as to what we're going to be seeing. So Electric Cherry not happening, but PhD, a leaked DLC perk we talked about, will be happening because of this. So there was some gameplay that came out. We covered it on the channel about the new Juggernaut Tier 4 or Tier 5 ability giving you a PhD effect. And it would give you the PhD feature, one of the PhD features that made it so, probably the most popular one, you don't take damage from self-inflicted explosives, splash damage, stuff like that. That gameplay did leak out, and that was before Firebase Z even released, and we thought, you know what, once they add these new tier upgrades, maybe PhD, based on this leaked gameplay, will be implemented into the new tiers of Juggernaut. Now that Juggernaut Tier 4, Tier 5 is actually out, we can see here, Tier 4, armor durability increased by 25%, and Tier 5, instead of getting downed on a lethal hit, armor is depleted and health is reduced to 1. No PhD effects here. They did not bring PhD morph it into one of the higher tiers for Jugg like they did with Electric Cherry for Elemental Pop, showing us now that that leaked gameplay maybe wasn't teasing the Juggernaut tiers, but it was teasing the straight up PhD flopper perk being added into Black Ops Cold War Zombies, which is super exciting. So now we kind of know that, you know, we're most likely going to see PhD as one of these new DLC perks in the game. But there's still kind of an issue with that. PhD itself doesn't really have too many abilities. You have no self-inflicted explosive damage, and then the dive to prone explosion mechanic, or, you know, slide to prone, or whatever else is in the game. You really don't have that anymore, but that type of explosion mechanic, however they brought it into Cold War, you know, those are the only real features you would see in Cold War Zombies PhD. So can it really stand alone as a perk, or does it have to be brought together with another perk? Let me know down below, what perk do you think they could bring together with PhD Flopper? They did that with Who's Who and Tombstone. They could easily do it with PhD Flopper and a different perk. Now, I originally thought that Electric Cherry and Widow's Wine would be a good combination together, but now that Electric Cherry is already in Elemental Pop and most likely won't be added to the game, Widow's Wine is still there. I love that perk. I want to see that perk return. Maybe that could be brought together with PhD Flopper. Widow's Wine had 4 unique abilities. The first one, zombies that hit the player will unleash a wave of webbing from the player, trapping nearby zombies for 20 seconds. Grenades become sticky Widow's Wine grenades. You can pick up spider power-up drops that replenish those grenades. And then finally, the player's knife has a chance to freeze zombies. Widow's Wine has a bunch of different abilities, and that could definitely complement the lack of abilities in PhD Flopper. PhD Flopper and Widow's Wine together, the base idea of it could be no self-inflicted damage, the main point of PhD back in the day, and then they could add other different tiers to it, the other parts of Widow's Wine, and maybe some new upgrade tier ideas as well. So super cool there. I really do hope we see that. Again, it's very likely that we do see PhD Flopper. I just think that a different perk will be added to it to really, you know, flesh out the full 5 tiers of a PhD Flopper in the game. If you guys have any ideas, leave those down below in the comments section. Next perk here that was leaked out, we've been talking about Mule Kick. Now, Mule Kick is a standard perk. I see it as a standard perk. I thought it would be one of the first DLC perks added to the game. That obviously wasn't the case. We got Tombstone as the first DLC perk, but it will be added very soon. We did have some gameplay, some stuff in Firebase Z that was potentially teasing Mule Kick. You were able to get a 3rd weapon in the game, but it probably just was a glitch there. So I haven't really seen any leaked gameplay for this perk, but we can go through some ideas here as to what Mule Kick could actually do in the game. Here's one I've been looking at. Tier 1, dropped weapons and equipment stay available for 60% longer. Tier 2, 25% increased chance of rare drops from enemies killed with the 3rd weapon. Tier 3, 3rd weapon with all upgrades is returned after rebuying Mule Kick. Obviously, the main point of it, I didn't say it, but carry a 3rd weapon. And we also have Tier 4 and Tier 5. Definitely be sure to leave your ideas down below as to what they could do for all of the different tiers of Mule Kick. I think Mule Kick can stand alone on its own. It could provide a bunch of different abilities and features for players. They could have one where you don't end up losing your 3rd weapon once you die. That was a huge problem with Mule Kick back in the day. If you died, you would lose that 3rd weapon slot, and that definitely wasn't a good thing. So that would be pretty cool to do in the game as like the Tier 3 or Tier 5 upgrade. Just go through some more stuff here, different ideas. Tier 1, reserve ammo increased. Tier 2, lost weapon regained upon Mule Kick rebuy, which we talked about obviously. Tier 3, carry more equipment. And one more idea here. Tier 1 increases flinch resistance by 33%. Tier 2 increases the amount of equipment you can carry by 1, applies for all lethal and tactical equipment. And Tier 3, if you previously lost a weapon by losing the Mule Kick perk, that weapon will return to your arsenal upon repurchasing the perk. So that last tier there definitely is something that a lot of people have been talking about. And if they do add Mule Kick to the game, which I'm very sure they will, that will be definitely one of the top tier abilities in this perk in the game. So super cool there. The last major perk that was leaked out in Cold War Zombies that has the best chance of coming back to the game, Double Tap. We've been talking about Double Tap for a while now. and it was kind of understood based on a bunch of recent and early leaks before the game even came out that double tap in this game pretty much was similar to how it worked in Black Ops 4 Zombies, where the abilities of double tap were just implemented into the Pack-a-Punch system. But apparently a lot of people are saying, and you guys have been commenting on my videos, that a lot of the weapons in this game don't actually get the full effects of double tap. Some do, some don't. It seems to not be standardized in the game, so even though it may seem OP if you do add double tap to the game, a lot of these weapons might be crazy good, but I think a lot of the base weapons, the less used and the less powerful weapons, would actually benefit a lot from the introduction of double tap in the game. A lot of the normal weapons on higher rounds just aren't good. You really only need a ray gun, and that's it. A lot of the other weapons just aren't usable, so having double tap and making these normal base weapons really good on high rounds would be super useful. And again, double tap could definitely stand alone as its own DLC perk in the game. They could add a bunch of different abilities and features to the tiers to make double tap a really good perk. And again, if you guys have any ideas and theories as to what they could do to that perk, leave them down below. But those are the perks here in the game. That's a bit of the updated information. Treyarch can decide to add more than 4 DLC perks to the game. They could decide to expand the Der Wonderfizz machine. They could decide to add a bunch of the old perks from the game, different perks that never saw the light of day, like Ammo-matic, which that's not going to happen, obviously, because we have the ammo crates in the game. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, Treyarch could really do whatever they want. They have the storyline reasoning with the Dark Ether, just, you know, being corrupted and mutated from the Dark Ether, a different version of the perk with the same, you know, ability, but you never know what they're going to do. But these perks that we talked about in this video are the most likely perks that we will see in this game. I'm sad about Electric Cherry. We could still see that in the future, but you never know. They still could implement it into the game in some type of way. I really want to see Widow's Wine. I would love to see Widow's Wine again as a standalone perk, but I do think it makes sense to bring it with another perk, maybe PhD Flopper. And again, any other perk you guys want Treyarch to add or implement into another perk, any perk you want them to combine in Cold War Zombies for future DLC, leave those ideas down below. If we do end up getting a second Zombies season, a Zombie Chronicles 2.0, they could easily bring back a bunch of these old perks, old features to the game. Just why not? Like, they could do whatever they want. And if they're doing an extra zombie season, I could definitely see them bringing back a bunch of the nostalgic perks to the game. So let me know down below what you guys think about this. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. Leave a comment down below, perk, if you watched the entire video. It is greatly appreciated. Shout out to the YouTube channel members as always. And I'll see you guys in the next video or live stream. Peace out, guys.